Good morning, students. I'm Shaila Goel, your psychology teacher. Today, we are going to continue with our chapter Self and Personality. Dear students, you have already done psychodynamic approach and post-Freudian approach. Now, we will come up to the different approaches that has been taken place to research about the personality. First in line is behavioral approach. According to the behavioral approach, it puts importance to the outer, measurable, observable, definable behavior. That means behaviorists say that through the behavior, we can collect the data that is observable and measurable. So they focused on the behavior only. They focused on the learning of the stimulus response connections and their reinforcement. The theories did not emphasized on the importance of the internal dynamics of behavior. जैसे फ्रॉयड ने इंटरनल डायनामिक्स ईगो सुपर ईगो की बात करी थी, बिहेवियरल अप्रोच में सिर्फ बिहेवियर की बातें करते हैं. According to them, personality can be understood as the response an individual to the environment. They see the development simply as a change in response characteristics. That is, a person learns behavior in response to the new environments and stimuli. हमने जो कुछ भी लर्न किया, हमारे बिहेवियर में जो भी चेंज आ रहे हैं वो हमारे इन्वायरमेंट में की वजह से आ रहे हैं. अगर इन्वायरमेंट में हमें कुछ अलग स्टिमुलस मिलेगा या कुछ अलग परिवर्तन आएगा तो हमारे बिहेवियर में भी परिवर्तन आएगा. राइट स्टूडेंट्स? Now, for most behaviorists, the structural learning principles that involve the use of the stimuli, responses, and reinforcement in different ways. The theories of classical conditioning given by Pavlov, instrumental conditioning given by Skinner, and observational learning given by Bandura view learning and maintenance of behavior from different angles. The principle of these theories have been widely used in developing personality theories. For example, हम एक एग्जाम्पल ले रहे हैं ऑब्जर्वेशन लर्निंग थ्योरी का. It considers thought processes extremely important in learning, but these find almost no place in classical or instrumental conditioning theory. Observational learning theory also emphasizes on social learning based on observation and imitation of others, and self-regulation, which again is missed in other theories. Now, as you already know, that Pavlov and Skinner, they thought that reinforcement plays an important role, right? And they talked about the trials, whereas social learning theory talked about the learning in the social atmosphere, right? In the social environment, we observe the things and we learn. Either we are reinforced or not, that is a secondary question, right? It depends on what we are thinking, how we are perceiving the things. So there are little bit differences, and it is reflected in the behavioral approach. According to the behavioral approach, the unit of personality is response. Each response is a behavior which is emitted to satisfy a specific need. मुझे खाना ना खाना होगा, मुझे भूख लग रही होगी तो मैं खाना खाऊंगी. मुझे गुस्सा आ रहा है, मेरे एक एग्रेशन आ रहा है तो मैं एंगर शो कर रही हूँ. मुझे अपनी फ्रस्ट्रेशन निकालने के लिए एंगर निकाल रही हूँ. According to them, my response is there because to satisfy the needs. As you know, all of us eat because of hunger, but we are also very choosy about foods. Now, what I will eat I will eat because of hunger, but what will I eat depends on my choices. It depends on what I like and what I don't like, right? It will also depend on my taste. So all these things will affect my eating. but eating will surely take place. Why do they do so? According to the behavioral approach, children may initially learn to eat such vegetables in anticipation of appreciation from their parents. Now, if in the childhood you have eaten Karela or bitter gourd and your parents have appreciated you a lot, what you will do? Next time, also for that appreciation, you will eat Karela again. So, that appreciation has become a reinforcement for you. Later on, they may eventually learn to eat vegetables not only because their parents are pleased with their behavior but also because they acquire the taste of those vegetables and find them good. Slowly and steadily what happens, आप खा रहे हो तो आपको वो टेस्ट अच्छा लगने लगता है, तो आप एप्रिशिएशन के लिए नहीं खाओगे, उसके टेस्ट के लिए खाओगे जो आपको अब अच्छा लगने लग गया. Right, students? Sometimes we get to know about the nutrition value of the food. Then also we start eating it not because of the taste, not because of the appreciation, but because of the nutritional value, because we are health freak sometimes and we want to eat healthy. And what we will eat in health food, whatever is nutrition, it may taste good or it may not taste good. It all depends on our thought processes also. Thus, the core tendency that organizes behavior in the reduction of the biological or social needs that energizes behavior. This is accompanied through responses, behaviors that are reinforced. Now, what will be the reinforcement in the last case? Good health. If we are taking nutritious food, the reinforcer will be the good health, the energized self. So, behavioral approach emphasized on the responses. Now, let's come to the cultural approach. This approach attempts to understand personality in relation to the features of ecological and cultural environment. See, according to them, we adapt to the demands of the society, right? As human beings adapt, there will be some changes in the personality. It proposes the group's economic maintenance system that plays an important role in the origin of cultural and behavioral variation. Now, what happens? Take an example of a person who is living in a habitat where the terrain is very harsh, right? Then what will that person learn? The person will learn to go move up and down, and his physical strength will in turn be very stronger than the person who is living in the plains, right? The endurance of the person living in the difficult terrain will be high. So the cultural or the climatic condition is going to affect you. The people living in the deserts keep a turban on their head. It is not only a culture. That culture has been developed because that turban protects the male who is working on the field, in the field or in anywhere else, is protected from the excess of heat, right? So these things, the flora, the fauna, the climatic region, determines the economic activities of the individual. They also determine the settlement pattern, the social structures, division of labor, and other features like child rearing practices. This is overall learning experience, right? And this is economic maintenance system. The person living in the hilly areas will more be dependent on the souvenir shop, hotel industry, or tourism industry, adventurous sports industry, or something like that, because it is rich in tourism. It will be dependent on the fruits that grow readily on the terrains or the vegetables, but not on the industry, because fewer industry venture out on the upper hilly areas. So you have to understand that the terrain, the climatic conditions is going to affect the occupation of an individual and the way they settle. In the older times, people used to settle near the rivers because they need water, they need everything that is readily available near river areas. People's skills, abilities behavioral styles, and values priorities are viewed as strongly linked to these features. Rituals, ceremonies, religious practices, arts, recreational activities are the means through which people's personality get projected in a culture. People develop various personality or behavioral qualities in an attempt to adapt to the ecological and cultural features of the group's life. Thus, the cultural approach considers personality as the adaptation of individual to the group or on to the demands of their ecology and culture. Students, see the way the things are there in our culture, the rituals, the ceremonies. These are going to help us to develop our own personality. So, our personality is not only developed by the climatic conditions but also by our culture. Now, for example, we will take a Birhor community. It is a tribal group that of Jharkhand, right? They live a nomadic life. They live in the forest area, and they live in a small groups, right? What they do? They collect the wood. They grow mushrooms, fruits, etc. Now, what at the very early age they allow their children to move freely in the forest and learn hunting and gathering. Their child socialization practices are also aimed at making children independent, do many things without help of their elders, autonomous, they take several decisions on their own. Why it is so? Because they are living in the forest and it is very dynamic. Any animal can come, any wild animal can come, any hunter gatherer can come from outside also, any tourist person can come. So they have to take decisions themselves. They are achievement orientation. Why? Because they accept the risk. If the child is venturing out to catch a rabbit, they are not going to stop him. They are going to accept. They are going to ask him to take the risk and challenge such as those involved in hunting from an early age of life. They will not protect their children and keep it in the huts or the areas where they live. They will encourage them to move in the jungle and to live the life of a uh, adventure, right? Of a risk taker. In agricultural societies, see, in our agricultural societies, we are dependent on each other. If one person has a, yeah, boring, then he will allow other fields also to get water, right? So they depend on each other. One person has a tractor, he will lend it to his farmers nearby to use that tractor. So they are dependent on each other. They take care of youngsters. Now see, in COVID-19, the laborers were not there. So the people together were able to work together. They worked in groups. One day they have taken one field to cut the wheat, another day they have taken another field. Like this, they have covered the whole village and completed the work on time. So, in cultural societies, children are socialized to be obedient to elders, nurturing to youngsters, and responsible to their duties. Since these behavioral qualities make people more functional in agricultural societies, they become dominant features of people's personality in contrast to independence, autonomy, and achievement, which are more functional and thus highly valued in hunter gathering societies. Because of different economic pursuits, cultural demands, children in hunting gathering and agricultural societies develop and display different personality patterns. You can understand this very well through the examples around us. Those people who are living in industrial areas are more competitive, whereas people living in the agriculture areas are more supportive, they are more compromising, they are more helpful towards each other because they are living in a small community where they need support of each other. Once one person will need, another day another person will need. Whereas in industrial area, you know that if you get the job, the other will pull you down and try to move up. So it is always cutthroat business in the industrial area. According to the humanistic approach, it was given by Carl Rogers and Abraham Maslow. He, his theories were developed in response to the Freud's theory. Carl Rogers and Maslow has contributed a lot towards humanistic approach. Now first we will understand Carl Rogers. According to them, fully functional individual or the fulfillment is the motivating force for personality development. People try to express their capabilities, potentials and talents to the fullest extent possible. Right? Now what it is? हाँ, रॉजर से जब हम जन्म लेते हैं तब हमारा काम होता है अपने एक्चुअलाइजेशन तक पहुंचना, मतलब जो भी हमारा पोटेंशियल है वहाँ तक उसको पहुंचना. ठीक है, ये हमारा इनहेरेंट नेचर है, ये हमने डेवलप नहीं किया अपने पोटेंशियल तक पहुंचने के लिए. राइट? आप देखो, एक छोटी सी कम्युनिटी के अंदर एक अगर बच्चा आर्टिस्ट है तो वो अपने ही लेवल के ऊपर बहुत बड़ा काम कर लेता है. उसको कोई बाहर से आने की ज़रूरत नहीं होती और बोलने की ज़रूरत होती है तेरे में आर्टिस्ट है तुम करो. नो, दिस इज़ नॉट सो. वी डू इट बिकॉज इट इज वी हैव द पोटेंशियल एंड इट इज़ आवर इनबॉर्न टेंडेंसी टू रीच टू आवर पोटेंशियल. Rogers make two assumptions about the human behavior. First assumption is that we all are goal oriented and worthwhile. That means जो भी हमारा काम होगा वो एक गोल के लिए होगा और एक जो ज़रूरी होगा, वर्थ होगी जिसकी, वो हम उसके लिए तत्पर रहते हैं. वी आर इन टू दैट बिहेवियर ओनली. सेकेंड इज़ दैट पीपल, actually all the people were good by birth, will always choose adaptive self-actualization behavior. The people become bad or good after the birth, but when they are born, it is thought that everyone is a good person and they will choose adaptive behavior and self-actualizing behavior. Rogers' theory grew out of his experience of listening to the patients in his clinic. He noted that self was an important element in the experience of his clients. Thus, his theory is structured around the concept of self. The theory assumes that people are constantly engaging in the process of actualizing their true self. Now, what, according to him, is the problem? He said that there is two types of self. Ideal self is the self that people would like to be. जो मैं चाहती हूँ अपने लिए वो मेरा आइडियल सेल्फ है, जो मेरी ख्वाब है, जो मेरा आइडियलिस्टिक बिहेवियर है. Cooperation between the ideal self and the real self will lead to happiness. It will lead to the growth of an individual. But if the real self and the ideal self are not matched, there is a discrepancy, then it will lead to dissatisfaction. वो now what happens? Ideal self तो वो होता है जो मैं चाहती हूँ, रियल सेल्फ वो होता है जो मैं हूँ. तो उन दोनों का सेम होना बहुत ज़रूरी है अगर मैं खुश हूँ तो, राइट? मेरे खुश होने के लिए. So it is very important that my real self and the ideal self should correspond to each other. Then only I can achieve the happiness. Rogers' basic principle is that people have a tendency to maximize self-concept through self-actualization. In this process, the self grows, expands and becomes more social. Now, according to him, हमारा सेल्फ कॉन्सेप्ट बनता है बेटा सेल्फ एक्चुअलाइजेशन. जब हम अपने पोटेंशियल तक रीच करते हैं तो हमारा सेल्फ कॉन्सेप्ट भी ग्रो होता है. येस मैं कर सकता हूँ, आई कैन डू दिस बिकॉज वी आर रीचिंग टूवर्ड्स आवर गोल्स, राइट? एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू हिम इट इज़ अ कॉन्टीन्यूस प्रोसेस. आप कभी रुकते नहीं हो. आपकी पर्सनैलिटी डेवलप थ्रू आउट योर लाइफ टाइम. इट ग्रोज बिकॉज ऑफ योर एक्सपीरियंसेस, बिकॉज ऑफ योर things that you have got, right? It involves learning to evaluate oneself and mastering the process of self actualization. See, students, role of social influences in the development of self concept, positive social conditions lead to the high self concept and self esteem, generally flexible and open to new experiences. Now, what does this mean? This means that if we have a good social relationship and if the people are highly motivating towards us, then what will happen? We will be more flexible, we will be more open to the new experiences, right? And an atmosphere of unconditional positive regard must be created in order to ensure enhancement of people's self concept. This means that if people will not judge us unrealistically and if they will accept the other people freely, there will be no conditions attached to that acceptance, then a person will be more dynamic, the person will be more and more outgoing and will reach to its own potential properly. So this is very much important, and this is the part of the client centered theory that Rogers developed. Okay, in this client centered theory, he wants to achieve this condition of unconditional positive regard, right? So students, I hope you have understood the Rogers theory. Now we will come to the humanistic approach given by Maslow. Through the hierarchy of needs pronounced by Maslow, he has given a detailed account of psychological healthy person in terms of their attainment of self-actualization, a state in which people have reached their own fullest potential. As you may remember, according to Maslow, we first try to fill out the physiological needs, then the safety needs, then belongingness needs, and then self esteem, and then self potential actualization. See, he has a very optimistic and positive view. He believes that love, joy, and the creative work can be done by all. In different capacities, yes, but by all. Human beings are considered free to shape their own lives and to self actualization. It is upon us how we mold our behavior. Self actualization becomes possible by analyzing the motivations that governs our life. We know that biological security and belongingness needs, called survival needs, are commonly found among animals and human beings. Thus, an individual's sole concern with the satisfaction of these needs reduces her or him to the level of animal. If we are only concerned with the biological or the safety needs, then what we are? We are compared to animals according to the Maslow. We are not more than the animals. We will be just considering those things only. But if we begin the journey of self-esteem and self-actualization, we move towards a higher level of living, right? The humanistic approach emphasizes the significance of the positive aspects of our life. See, we have to analyze the motivation that govern our life. According to them, हमारे पास खुद के पास एक फ्रीडम है कि हमें सेल्फ एक्चुअलाइजेशन तक पहुंचना है, नहीं है पहुंचना, या सिर्फ बायोलॉजिकल नीड्स तक रहना है. Now, humanistic psychologist tries to explain what is healthy person. Now, humanistic theories have indicated that the healthy personality lies in not merely adjustment to the society. It involves a quest to know oneself deeply and to be true to one's own feelings without disguise. हमें अपने से फ्रीडम होनी चाहिए. हमारी एडजस्टमेंट लाइफ के साथ बहुत अच्छी होनी चाहिए. अगर हम इधर आज और अभी में जिएंगे तो वी विल बी एबल टू रीच अवर पोटेंशियल अ लॉट. According to them, who are the healthy persons and what are their characteristics? First, they become aware of themselves, their feelings, their limits, accept themselves and what they make of their lives. The courage to be. हम क्या करना चाहते हैं, हमारी खुद की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज़, ये रियलाइजेशन बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट होता है. They experience the here and now and are not trapped. The healthy person will not be trapped in the what has gone in the past and what will be in the future. They live in here and now possibilities. They do not live in the past or dwell on the future. They do not keep the anxious expectations and distorted defenses. Now, what happens is, according to others, few others, we live in the past and they affect our personality. But Maslow and Rogers and the humanistic says that we should not dwell if in the past if we have to be a healthy person. We should not be thinking about the future. We should live in here and now. We should be achieving what we want to, what we really internally want. Then only we can live happily and healthily. I hope students you have understood this chapter thoroughly and you will revise it and come up with your queries. Thank you, students.